Welcome to another My Wild Knitting podcast episode. It's been a while, so I hope you'll enjoy this one. Let's just dive into the episode. Long time no see. Welcome back. If you've been here before, thank you for joining me once again. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Martina. I live in this beautiful house that we're finishing with my partner in the center of Italy. We live off-grid and there's a lot of work to do. We have a beautiful garden, and I've been sharing a little bit of our process on another channel called Casa nel Monte if you want to check it out. Otherwise, if you're here just for the knitting, there's plenty knitting content on this channel. Today I'm once again podcasting. It's I think last time I'd done it was like 2 months or something ago. So it's been a while. Today I have 1 finished object and 3 work in progress projects, and everything is really autumn themed. I'm really excited for this new season. I love the changing of the seasons. I'm drinking a little bit of coffee because I need to collect my thoughts. And I'm drinking it on this beautiful cup that I bought from Under the Willow Pottery. Sophie is a magical creator and she creates absolutely gorgeous products and potteries. So check out her page on Instagram. This has a little mushroom at the center. I really like the size as well. It's not that big and it has this big handle, which I really like. Okay, let's start with what I'm wearing. I shared the projects or the things that I'm wearing in the past too, but I'll talk about them quickly once again. This is a bandana or head scarf or neck scarf, however you like to wear it, and it has this beautiful kind of yarn overs that create this nice pattern. And I knitted it with a yak and silk blend by my yak. The color I think was Ananda, if I'm not mistaken. Beautiful yarn. I had just a mini skein. 25 grams. Fingering weight yarn is more than enough for knitting a little headscarf. And I eventually would like to knit a shawl. So continue the pattern, repeat, and create a big shawl with this pattern. And it's nice because you just knit forth and back, you don't purl. So it creates kind of this garter stitch with this like nice lace. I recommend the pattern. You just have to get used to the repeats. And then I'm wearing a little camisole underneath. I've knitted this I think 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I used this beautiful yarn. This yarn was a little gift that Ida, Athenian maker, sent me. Ida is an absolutely talented yarn dyer. She uses beautiful natural materials and creates these gorgeous colorways and on beautiful bases. This base was a linen and bamboo blend. I really love it, and I'm not really a speckled yarn person. I prefer like more, tonal. Is it tonal? Like consistent colors, at least when it comes to wearing colors. But speckled yarns are absolutely beautiful to have in your stash and to look at. You can almost like hang them as paintings. But I really like this yarn. It's super nice and it holds really well. It's a fingering weight yarn. I would like, maybe in the future, if I'll ever get this yarn again, I'll probably hold it double, because I prefer a more DK weight fabric for my, or worsted even, maybe DK weight fabric for my knitted summer garments. But I really like this one. It's a, let me take this off. It's kind of like a camisole, super simple camisole. It's a little bit see-through, so I don't wear it so often. But today I'm wearing it with a cardigan, so it's really nice. Okay, so this is what I'm wearing. Let's go into the finished object. We have a very drapey, beautiful skirt. It looks like a ballerina skirt. It's really wide, and I blocked it, but I didn't weave in the last two ends because, yeah, I played yarn chicken and I wasn't sure I had enough, and I didn't have enough. And I have another yarn in a similar color, but let's rewind. Let's talk a little bit about this project. So this is a test knit. Is a pattern called Skeeter Skirt, and I'll leave the information on the screen. And I've been test knitting this pattern, and it's super interesting. The construction is so well written. It's so size inclusive. There aren't sizes. The designer teaches you how to knit this skirt depending on the type of yarn that you have, on the, you know, way of the yarn, on your needle sizes, on your gauge, on your waist measurement, and all of that. So it's an amazing, you know, kind of recipe pattern, and it's really well written. I'm really impressed. And she's a new designer, so I'm like, how did you pull that out? But she did. And I'm really excited to knit another one at some point. I knitted it a little bit too short, but I think what I really like about this project is that when it comes to skirts, I think you can wear them pretty much all year round with or without, you know, tights and stockings and leggings. So I'm gonna wear this baby a lot, I think, in the winter, but also autumn and spring, and maybe in the summer too, maybe at the beach if I'm ever going to. I really like this kind of increases and this button band. You first knit the button band, then you kind of figure things out, and about the, you know, how many stitches you have to pick up and all of that, and then you start doing the increases, and it's a super pleasurable pattern to knit. But of course, because you always have to increase every X amount of rounds, you will find yourself with tons of stitches on the needles. The stockinette is going to be a long knit, especially if you want to knit it longer and not that short. I decided to use 2 skeins of this gorgeous yarn. Sorry, there is the shadow of my camera. It's a beautiful terracotta color, and I've used Lash Lino DK by Cozy Posy Yarn Co. It's probably my favorite summer yarn. Is 65% silk, so tons of drape, and 35% linen, so it has also that integrity of the linen, and it has a lot of drape. I've knitted with this yarn before. Beautiful. It peels tiny bit, but I think it's because it's very soft, and it's a pleasure to knit with this yarn. Usually summer yarns are not really pleasurable to knit with, at least for me. They're a bit stiff. Linen yarns and cotton blends. But you know that you will enjoy the finished you know, the finished project and the finished fabric, so you keep on knitting. But this yarn, I found it very nice to knit with. So yes, love this, and I'm really glad I managed to finish it without too much stress. I've really focused on this garment the past 2 weeks or so. I'm not knitting as much as before at all, but I really, you know, I'm okay with that, and it's taking more time. Things are taking more time. And what else about this? I think the pattern will come out the first week of October, so stay tuned. It's going to be quite soon. I had 2 skeins. This yarn comes in a very generous skein. It's 115 grams, and I had 2 skeins, so 230 grams, and I managed to knit, you know, that kind of short-ish mini skirt version. But of course it depends on your size and everything. I would have liked, I think, to knit it tiny bit longer, but I'm super happy, and I think that we wear it will, you know, stretch a little bit, and I love the way it is. I love the way it is. I'm not regretting anything. Okay, let's move on to work in progress projects. I'm really much feeling all of the wooliness of the colder season, you know, like I want to knit a lot of woolly objects and garments. But first I want to finish some projects that I started in spring this year, and then I kind of hibernated them because it was too warm to knit on them during the summer. The first project that I've been working on is this Azucena pullover. I'm about to finish the first sleeve. I need to knit the collar work, and then I'm knitting the body a little bit longer, and I need to finish to knit the second sleeve. This is the Azucena pullover by Claudia Quintanilla. Unit Toronto sent me the beautiful yarn that I'm using for this project, the green, and the rest is kind of like cream, kind of contrast color. I had it in my stash. This is Knitting for Olive merino, and held together with Knitting for Olive silk mohair. Beautiful, really nice yarn, and I love the color. Is this, I think the color is Pea Shots or Pea Shoots. I really love it, really love it. I've knitted the, you know, I think it's the smallest or the second to smallest size, and it's quite fitting. It doesn't have so much positives, which at the beginning I was like, oh my god, do I have to unravel it once again? Because I knitted the yoke once with 2 different colors and I didn't like them, so I unraveled it, and I was like, oh my god, do I have to unravel all of this? But yesterday I was trying it on again, and it fits perfectly, and I think that with blocking and with wearing it will stretch up a little bit, but it's yeah, it looks really nice, and I'm really looking forward to finish this. They sent me also this beautiful bag. Unit, beautiful. Yeah, these are the 2 yarns that I'm using. Let me show you. I thought I had the label on that one, and the, you know, main color and the contrast color. I'm holding these 2 together. This is kind of like a speckled hemp and wool blend, and this is a silk mohair. So these are the yarns that I'm using for this project. Let me see. Yeah, Canyamo tweed. This is the contrast color yarn, Canyamo tweed by Rosario's Quattros, and this is 71% wool, 10% alpaca, 10% hemp, and 9% viscose. very luxurious yarn, I would say. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, next project. Battery is gone. Few hours have passed. I charged my camera battery and I did some housework. But let's continue. Another project, which is a pretty big project, at least for me, that I started to work on again. I casted on this cardigan, this brioche cardigan, following my own pattern. Yeah, the next two projects that I'm going to share with you are self-drafted, so you won't find the patterns for these, but there are plenty patterns that are very similar to these two cardigans that I'm going to show you. This is the first one, and it's a really fun kind of brioche cardigan that I just self-drafted. And I don't know, it looks strange. It looks like these two sides are different, are they? They know, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I tried it on the other day and I was like, I want to finish this. I want to continue working on this. This is actually really pleasurable to work on. I'm using amazing yarns. So this bag, this was gifted to me by the Knitting Swan. There, the Knitting Swan. And she designs and make them. They're lovely. Look, it's a pretty big bag and it's full of silk mohairs. There are many more inside here. Here I have all of my silk mohairs, and I decided to kind of create, like, use all of these silk mohairs and create this kind of irregular stripes. Irregular stripes, what I mean is that each colorful stripe is not the same length. And as a base, I'm using this absolutely gorgeous yarn by Imagine Wool. It's the baby alpaca in the color 206. It's this kind of very natural light brown. I love this color so much, especially in winter and autumn. And it's a fingering weight yarn. It's absolutely one of the most soft and amazing yarns. I love. It's lovely. I absolutely love alpaca. I think that if I had to pick one animal fiber, I will pick alpaca. Baby alpaca. Love it. Love it. It's very drapey, and I decided to, it's fingering weight yarn, 50 grams, each skein 200 meters, and I decided, light fingering, and I decided to hold it together with any of the silk mohairs that I have. Some of these silk mohairs are full skeins, other ones are like just scraps that I had in my stash. So I'm kind of, yeah, designing my own cardigan, and here there's a little mistake. I'll have to fix that. But it's a really fun, kind of simple brioche cardigan, and I'm really excited to work on this. I love brioche knitted flat. It's one of my top favorite stitches. The rhythmic, can you say rhythmic? The process of knitting brioche flat. So for cardigans, it's just the best. And yeah, I made a little bit of progress, not much, but yeah, very excited. And this is gonna take a while because brioche, it's it grows slower than stockinette, for example. And I want to kind of mix and match all of these silk mohairs. We have greens, we have browns, we have pinks, we have violets, we have tons of different colors. And I don't know if this will be enough to finish the entire cardigan. I think I had 5 skeins, which might be enough, but I think I'll use other, fingering way yarns that are maybe very similar to these that I have in my stash, together with the silk mohairs, and kind of place them randomly around throughout the cardigan. So then I'll be sure that I'm not gonna play yarn chicken. Last project this August, I traveled quite a lot. I went to visit family in the north. I went to Sweden and to Dublin, and I brought with me only this. My God, look at this tangle mess. I have to fix that. This is how my life feels like sometimes these days. And yeah, what can you do? Just patiently untangle, entangle. I don't know. Try to deal with this mess. Okay, so now this skein looks a bit like a mess, but 2 or something months ago I got on Vinted. This is my new thing, actually, let me tell you. So there is this secondhand platform in Europe called Vinted, and it's kind of like a secondhand platform where you can create a little account and you post, images of clothes, accessories, even home stuff, shoes, things like that, and you try to sell them, and people just buy them and they pay like a little bit of commissions on Vinted, and just very tiny bit, and shipping. It's a really nice secondhand platform. I bought clothes that I needed and shoes, and yeah. And one day I was there and I was kind of like checking one thing and then another one, and then I just was like, let me check if they sell by chance yarn. And so I typed yarn, like alpaca yarn or merino yarn or something like that, woolly yarn, something like that, and I discovered a new side of Vinted that I'm very excited about. And there aren't many that are selling their stash yarn, but there are some. And I found some people, even Italians, some people were in Germany, like, anyhow, I found this yarn. I think these were like 10 or 12 skeins, 50 grams each, of 100% merino in this beautiful color. It's a beautiful red merino yarn. I'm not like a huge fan of merino, like, it's not the worst at all for me, but I prefer other breeds of sheep and other, animal-based fibers. But merino is really standard, it's soft, it peels quite a lot in my experience, but it's okay, it's nice. And I got these ones for like 10 or 12 skeins. It was like so much, like in a bag, and I spent 20 euros, which is a little bit more than $20 if you're watching from the US. I'm like, wow. I was quite excited. So I brought with me few skeins of this yarn during my little 1 week trip to Sweden and then to Ireland, and I casted on a very simple cardigan. Now you can't really see much. I didn't have stitch markers, so I used little pieces of scrap yarn to create stitch markers. Yeah, and I'm making this kind of very simple red cardigan. I'm not creating buttonholes because I'm not planning to add buttons, but just I want to create like some I-cords that I will knit on both sides of the button band and then kind of tie them up, if that makes sense. But I decided to do a little 1x1 ribbing on the edges here so it doesn't curl in, but I'm quite happy with how this is turning out, and I'm gonna soon separate separate for the sleeves. I think this is a French brand that I never heard of. Maybe it's even vintage, like maybe it's discontinued, but it feels very similar to the Knitting for Olive Merino. I feel that Knitting for Olive Merino is a bit thinner in terms of thickness of the yarn, like way. This is more like a DK way, I think, but it's very similar in terms of softness. So very happy. This was a very cheap purchase and very valuable at the same time. I think I'm done with what I wanted to show you. This episode was a little bit chaotic for me to film, but I hope it was okay for you to watch. And I'll see you very soon. The colder season is coming, so I'll be posting a little bit more, and sometimes I'll do some live knit and chats. Usually I do them on Sunday at 6 p.m. CEST, so check that out. I usually announce if I go live on my community page or section on my YouTube channel, so keep that in mind. And if you want to follow us on the other YouTube channel where we share more about our off-grid life here, we'll be really happy and grateful if you follow us there. It's called Casa nel Monte. I leave all the links in the description box. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having so much fun planning for the new season and knitting for the new season. So I'll see you very soon, and happy knitting.